Hey YouTube, this is Yirmiyahu Weeps, and I want to talk about some shit in the Bible. Okay, first I'm going to Mishlei, or Proverbs, chapter 30, verse 12. And actually I'm going to start in verse 11, okay? There is a generation who curse their fathers and don't bless their mothers. And that bless is to kneel down and give a precious gift, okay? So there's a generation who curse their fathers and don't bless their mothers. There's a generation who are pure in their own eyes and yet are not washed from their shit. A generation will be pure and clean, ethically upstanding and flawless in their own eyes, and still not be cleansed of their shit. Then again in Yeshayahu or Isaiah chapter 4, it reads thus. When Yahweh has washed away the shit of the daughters of Zion, and rinsed away the blood of Yerushalayim from her midst by the Ruach of Elohim, from the Ruach of judgment or deciding on, and by the Ruach of burning. Now that Yahweh means he exists, or the self-existent one, whether you pronounce it Yahweh, Yahweh, Yehovah, whatever. And Zion means, I can't remember what Zion means, but it's commonly called Zion. And Yerushalayim, commonly called Jerusalem. I can't remember what that means off the top of my head. Ruach, commonly called spirit, means like breath or wind or essence or character. Going on. That's, I'll just mention really quick. The reason why that's happening, from what I've found, is people are boasting openly of their sin. Their words and their deeds, their behavior and what they say is against love. They're violating love. Talks about the people's leaders mislead them and they give confusing directions. And they're not taking care of the poor and the helpless and the needy. Going on. Yeshayahu or Isaiah, chapter 28. Verse 8, it says, It says, because truly all the tables are covered with vomit and shit. No place is clean. All the tables are covered with vomit and shit. And I found that the reason for that seems to be that the rulers, it's talking about the tables of the rulers, and the rulers are, instead of like taking care of the people, they're getting drunk and they're feeling secure in their own power, doing whatever it is they want to do, not taking care of people, not listening to the instructions of Yahweh, and Yahweh is love. So they're not listening to the instructions of love, they're abusing the people. And it's saying that all of their tables are covered with vomit and shit. Yahweh's not very happy with them. Going on, in Zechariah chapter 3, verse 3, it says, and Yoshua was dressed in shitty clothes and was standing before the messenger. And there's a story with that. I'm not going to go into it. It's not Yeshua HaMashiach. It's commonly known as Jesus Christ, although that's not his real identity. It's talking about a different Yeshua, Cohen, that's back in this time, from my understanding. And the last one that I want to mention is from Philippians 3, verse 8. And it's Shaul talking, and he says, more than that, I think of and rule over all as lost. So that think of and rule over, it's the same word. It's to rule over, like when you think of something, you're ruling over it. You're in control of your thought and what you're thinking about. At least you should be. So he says, more than that, I think of and rule over all as loss, because of the superiority of knowing Mashiach Yoshua, my master. for whom I suffer the loss of all. Truly, I think it is shit, that I may gain Mashiach. So all of the stuff that he's suffering loss of, he's suffering the loss of everything, basically, to gain Mashiach, to gain Yeshua. And all of the things that he's suffering the loss of, he thinks of as shit compared to Yeshua. So that is shit in Scripture. Now the Hebrew word that gets translated as shit is tahor, and a lot of times it gets translated as filth or something like that, but filth isn't really a strong enough term. It doesn't convey the emphasis and strength of the concept. So if you wanted an English word that you would translate tahor into, it would be shit, because that's expressive enough to get the concept across. And then in Greek term, and that's all the terms in Proverbs, the two terms in Proverbs and Mishlei, the two terms in Yeshayahu or Isaiah, and the term in Zechariah is shit. And then in Philippians, the Greek term that gets translated is I don't know if it's pronounced skubalon, but yeah, that's the proper understanding of that word would be shit. So the 5 places that I have found shit in Scripture. Yep. I hope this has been helpful, beneficial, interesting. So I don't think that Scripture should be sugar-coated. I think that there are words that are expressive in the right way at the right time. And some of those words, maybe shit or ass or bitch or cunt or fuck or whatever the word may be. It's perfectly expressive at the right time and in the right way, as Scripture illustrates with the shit that we find in Scripture. So, hope this has been helpful, interesting, beneficial. Feel free to leave comments, feedback, whatever. And shalom, thank you very much for watching. Arrivederci, au revoir, adios, bonjour, slan, sayonara, bye.